Hello, hello, welcome to Mindset to Results. And with us today, Dania, who is certified psychology counselor and mindset coach. She will share with us her story and powerful message, which she is inspired to tell to the world. Hi, Dania.
Hi, how are you?
Great to see you.
Great
I
to
see
see
you
you.
very active in social media, so I invited you to be guest on my podcast and share that powerful message which you would like to tell to the world.
Thank you.
Motivated you to do what you do? How
So
it is all started?
it started in 2018. I was very sick at that time. I had three autoimmune diseases and PTSD with dissociation disorder. So at that time, when I would go to the doctors, they would say, there's no healing, neither for the diseases, which was Hashimoto, diabetes, and I even developed I started to develop epileptical seizures. So my nervous system was also breaking down. And yeah, wherever I would go, they would say, yeah, you have to learn how to live with it. And I couldn't accept it. So I started to buy books, do my own research, and to learn how to heal. And then I discovered that you cannot heal your body without healing your soul and your mindset and your paradigms first. And this is where I started on this journey. This is
What
what
about
motivates me.
Mhm. Yeah, and also you are mother of six children. Tell a
Yes.
little bit about that. You had such a really so many challenges, like all these health issues and being mother of six, and how you could deal with all this.
So my first child, I got my first daughter when I was 16. I married out of love. I was not forced when I was 15. And I didn't know anything about abuse. I didn't know I was abused. And I was focused on my children. So they saved my life, I would say. Because I was getting abused from one side, but I was focusing on the children. So I wasn't really aware of anything that was happening. But then they started to get older. And my daughter was very sensitive to what was happening, to what was going on. And I remember when I started to get more and more sick because it didn't happen overnight. I started to develop these diseases slowly until they broke out. Um, and I remember when my eldest daughter started to look at me with the gaze of like it's a combination of pity and disgust. And this was, I think, the moment where I realized this is not how I want to be seen by my own children. And it really pushed me a lot to show them a stronger mother, to show them, especially my girls, that life, that this is not normal, what was happening, and that giving yourself up is not an option. Yeah. And it was a great push for me to really work on myself.
Yes, amazing, amazing story. And did you feel that time that you have all these diseases that it might be something that you can't be healed? And
I
what gave you that strength to decide that you want to be healthy and you going to do whatever it takes to change your situation?
Yeah, I think when I went to the doctors, especially with the PTSD, because it just came up, the re-traumatization, when I started the healing process of my body, because the body just shows you what is going on inside. And when I started the healing process of my body, in the clinic where I was being treated, they had diagnosed me with PTSD and dissociation disorder. And it just started then. I didn't know that I was walking with traumas. I didn't know what trauma was. I didn't know anything. Things happened. I overcame them, and that's it. I never spoke about these things. And but I started to be sensitive. I started to become really angry when people started to tell me what I can and cannot do. Because this was what my ex husband used to always tell me, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. And I was 15 when I married, he was 10 years older. And I started to like find this rebellious spirit inside of me. Stop telling me what I can and cannot do. And these doctors would tell me this is not healable. Don't try to heal these things, try to cope with them. I couldn't accept it. I started to do my own researches because I started to get angry when people told me what I can and cannot do.
Wow, amazing, amazing attitude. I'm so agree with you that nobody can tell what you can do and what you cannot do, and nobody also can tell if you can heal or not, because we all have such a big potential in our body, and our body has that wisdom, inner wisdom, which is from the day of creation, how to heal itself. If we if we find the way how to take care of ourselves and study ourselves and understand why we got sick.
Yes,
Because if we continue just doing the same things which made us sick, in that way, yes, there is like, if we continue doing the same, we will get the same results. But when we start understanding what was the cause and effect, and
yes,
that cause is in us, and then we start looking at those things and understand deep where it all came from, then the healing process starts.
exactly.
So how was it for you? Like, how did you find those causes of those diseases which you had?
You always get what you want. This is a rule you have, and I wish everyone would understand what it really actually means. So I was so unhappy in my marriage and I couldn't see a way out. I wanted to die. So my body was doing what I wanted without me being conscious about it. So I didn't want to get sick. So this is why it's really important to know exactly what you want, to know exactly what you want. And for me, maybe death was the only way out at that time. And I think this really had a huge impact on my health, on my mental and physical health. And when I started to realize that there's another way out, first, of course, I was still hopeful. I wanted to heal, and I wanted to heal my marriage. I wanted to heal my family, but I knew I had to start with myself. As I said, I didn't want my children to suffer. I didn't want them to look at me a certain way. So I wanted to heal myself, and then my marriage and the family, and everything was still positive at that time. And only after, like a few years after that, because I was getting better and my ex husband was getting more and more bitter that I was getting better. He didn't like it. This is where I realized, okay, there's nothing to heal here. And if I want to stay healthy, I need to leave. And yeah, as I said, you always get what you want.
Yes, this is so important what you just said now, because subconsciously we can set the program to kill ourselves. And because subconscious is immoral, it doesn't understand the difference between good and bad. It doesn't say you don't think that thought because it will cause you negative effects. It is just like a soil. Whatever seed we plant in that soil, it will grow. It can be
Exactly.
poison seed, it will grow the same as the very a good vegetable or fruit. So this is a really very important thing to understand, that we should be aware of our thoughts and our desires and our wishes, what we say to ourselves every day, about that inner dialogue. So because you were not happy, because you were not healthy, you didn't have joy from life, you didn't have good relations, maybe you were feeling that you are not worthy, and you were not confident, you didn't have a good life experience because you just got married with all these responsibilities at 15.
Yeah.
So it all together, it just brought you to that decision, or to those thoughts, patterns of thoughts, that you want to die. And this is how subconscious mind, it just received that command, and it just started giving you what you were asking for.
And again, even there, I, I have learned to take full accountability. I have attracted the man that saw me the way I saw myself. I didn't, as you said, I didn't know my worth. I didn't have any self confidence. I didn't feel that I was worthy of being treated well and being loved from a young age. So even there, I started to take accountability. I, it's not victim shaming or anything, just taking accountability in order to make it better for the next time, you know? I
Yes.
attracted,
Mhm.
I had,
Yes, we attract everything, and we are the cause of everything that happens to us. And sometimes it is difficult to accept that, right? Like people can say, "How I could attract it? How it can be my cause?" Right? But yes, it is even not consciously that we attract that, but our thoughts, our attitude towards ourselves, towards life, it all creates a certain energy, because our thoughts are like have electricity, right? Like they emit an energy, electricity, and it sets us to certain channel, like with our thoughts and state, energetical state where we are, we get to different channels. It is like am just has programs which are at AM. If AM is, we have to switch channel, and then we will listen totally different programs. So we just put ourselves sometimes in the channel which starts showing us only those things which are aligned with that frequency, with that channel, and this is how it happened to you. So, what helped you really to switch your energy and decide that enough is enough, and prove to yourself and to others that you are meant for more?
my brother. I remember that I was sitting with him when he knew that I was in therapy, in trauma therapy. And he really, like, we were, I say we were because he died 3.5 years ago. We were soulmates, best friends. We both, we were the eldest. We both had to take responsibility early on in the family because my father was sick. And yeah, so we had a special bond. And one day he said, "What are you doing? Therapy." I said, "Yeah, I'm traumatized and I have to heal these traumas. And they told me this and they told me that." And he said, "It's all bullshit. You are well. You just need to get rid of this asshole." And I said, "No, you don't know. I'm really suffering and whatever." And he said, "Dania, I've seen men, the strongest men, like street people. And I've been sitting with a lot of strong people. And the strongest person that I know has always been, it will always be my sister." And I was like, "Really? You see me that way?" And he said, "Dania, look at me." And he said, "I love you from the bottom of my heart. And it hurts me, it kills me to see you suffer. And I've been seeing that for decades now, and it's enough. That day, I really remember the first time that I felt worthy because I was looking up to my brother. He was like a strong man, you know. He had fame, he had strength, and he was my hero. And he told me that I'm the strongest person he knows. And whenever he thinks about strength, he thinks about me, and this gives him strength. And I think it was the first time that I believed a man telling me he loves me. And this love that I experienced that day, and it was, by the way, 2 weeks before he suddenly died from a heart attack. And he was healthy. He was in sports, and he was only 42 years old back then. So maybe, you know, when people go too early, you remember every word they said, and it has more value. And but that day, I felt like King Kong. I was loved, and I think we need love. We need to feel and to believe that we are lovable, and he gave me that.
Amazing story, really. You shared, and you went through so many challenges, and yeah, it has to be so big strength within you, that spirit which helped you to raise above all of that and look for the cause of that suffering. Yes, because and make decision also. It is important not just understand the root of that many problems, right, but also make decision to change the situation. And it also needs to be brave. And you decided that you want to be strong and that it is enough to live that way, and just you decided to make a huge shift in your life. Yes, and this really, it shows that you are strong. And what your brother did here, he helped you to believe in yourself. He helped you to see that power in you, which you didn't see yourself.
No, I didn't. Yeah.
So, what happened then when you realized that you can become that winner and you decided to deal and address all those health issues and heal yourself?
So the healing process started earlier, 2 years or something. But and it's a process. I really want the people to know it doesn't, like for me, it didn't happen overnight, but it was a process. I started to build myself up. Still, there were so many things I didn't know and so many things I didn't understand. I started to study psychology, and I started to see and learn how the human brain works, how emotions have an effect, and things like that. And after that, but the reason why I left in the end, I didn't know, like, I didn't feel like a winner, but I was determined that I am worthy of a fulfilling life, and I couldn't have it. My brother died, so I have lost again another person that I trusted and loved. My father died 3 years before him, and then he died. And I felt like I am I have lost so many things and I have survived. I have survived the death of my soulmate and best friend. So I will survive the divorce. This is why I left. But then I started to look deeper into personal development. I didn't know anything about personal development. I didn't know Bob Proctor. I just saw one video where he said, "You have to know who you are." You know that video?
Yes, of
It's
course.
maybe from the 80s or something. And where he says, "You have to know who you are." And it's a 10 minutes video. I saved that video and I started to listen to it every day. And then I started to listen to other videos by Bob Proctor. And then I signed for a workshop or a webinar. He was still alive back then. And I started to really follow him and get more interested in what he is saying. And I think this opened a whole other world, like how powerful we really are. I joined his program from the Proctor Gallagher Institute, and I started to really learn just about me. And I think it's really the biggest secret and the most fascinating thing. Now I feel like I'm an alien looking at the human species, and I find them so interesting, so powerful. Like I'm a strong believer in the creator and that we are his masterpiece. So I really look at us like an artist, or like yeah, watching the best work of an artist. This is who we are. We are the best masterpiece of the creator. And now I'm still learning about our own power as humans, about my power specifically. And I think it's a beautiful journey. It starts with a lot of pain, but it's beautiful if you are curious and if you have faith, if you stay positive and when you remember how much you have survived already, it's okay. You will survive it.
Yes, and now you're so beautiful and look very healthy. So, what you would say to people who may be not in good health condition and hear from doctors that it is just the way how they have to live all their life and that they cannot be healed, that only they can do that to cope from your experience?
It all starts with the first step. There's a quote by Rumi: as you walk, the way appears. You will not never have a guarantee. You might not even see. I remember myself in that clinic, like I remember that day when I felt like a lost child in the forest, without parents, without anyone to go to. I was so lost. I have lost like my whole system, value system, belief system was crippling, like a cart house. How do you say? And I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what way to go. I didn't know what was the right thing. But then, as I said, I the only thing that I knew back then is I was created by a creator that loves me. So that faith gave me a sense of safety, a sense of hope, a sense of just faith, not even hope. This was my only faith. This was something I held on to. And I don't like, it doesn't matter what you believe in, but just believe that there's something that is higher than you, that will, you know, whenever you feel like, okay, this is it, I cannot go further. There's a source that will feed you. And the right people will come. Just make the decision and be open. Be open minded. Don't be close minded. When I started to say no, I decided I want to live. It was a decision. I could have decided, okay, this is going well. I'm dying. Well, I was wishing for that. I was praying for that. So let's go on that journey. But I decided to live and I decided to have a good life. And then people come. And like when the student is ready, the teacher appears or his master appears. It's really like that. You don't have to know how. You don't have to know where this way is going because the way just appears when you start going.
Yeah, yeah, that is really beautiful. What do you think about this when people say that you should accept the reality, and if you are told that this is your chronic disease and you never can be healed, so some people think that you should accept this and live with that,
Who's
or
real?
what you did, yes, and what you did from what you said that you didn't accept that. You said that who are they to tell me what I can do and what I cannot do? And you
Yeah, I
just
would
decide.
just ask whose reality is that? This is what I would first ask. Whose reality? Like, accept the reality, but whose reality? Because there are many different realities. If you ask 10 doctors about one topic, they will give you 10 answers. And so, whose reality is the reality? It's yours. And you have the choice. You can give up. You can believe that, and you can believe something inside of you that is telling you, no, this is not it. And I think the more you start to be connected with yourself, the more you will be able to hear that reality, your reality. So, this is what I would really ask my clients. And this is what I do ask my clients: whose reality is that? Is it your reality? Is it your truth? Or is it some truth of someone that has his own issues and his own truth and his own intentions? Of course, the doctors in the clinic want me to come every 2 months and sit there as a sick. Like, it's their business. It's okay. But I decide not to. I remember when I was sitting with, I started trauma therapy also in a clinic, and when I was sitting with the other clients and the other patients, they would say, "Yeah, we traumatize people. We are this and we are that." And I said, "This has become their identity. Talk about yourself, not about me. I'm not you, and it's not my identity. I'm more than that." So, yeah, I think it's an identity thing. And I think it's really going inside and asking yourself, is this my truth? Because I have nothing against acceptance. My father was dying in his deathbed for very long time. And they would say he's dying and he's dying and he's dying. So he was dying for years. And yeah, one day he accepted it and it was okay. They told him, if you go home, you will die over the weekend. And he said, okay. He told us to come. He apologized to his children and he went with dignity. He accepted it. But you have to know when to accept and when to, because it's your truth, it's your reality. And you know,
Yes, this is a big power of mind which we can use to choose our reality and what we want our reality to be. And at least we can give it try, right? Because if we just accept what other people tell us that what is not possible, it means that we don't even give it try. But if we decide what we want to be our reality, then we get into different state and then we are open to look for solutions. And when we go to solutions, this is how solutions come, because then we are open to receive them.
yes,
Yes, thank you, Dania. Like so powerful conversation we had, and we discussed how people can find themselves in the dark place and how they can take themselves out of that. And you did it, and it means that other people also can do it.
okay.
And all starts from believing in yourself, loving yourself, understanding who you are, knowing your self worth, also
And
finding your.
find your mentor. Find a
Yeah,
mentor. We cannot do it alone.
yes,
As strong as we are and as like knowledgeable as we cannot do it alone. I wasn't alone. So find your mentor and let them help you. Invest in yourself.
yes, yes, it is important because the person in his these thoughts, in his feelings, in his problems, in those paradigms who control totally the way how he sees the world, cannot just see solution, and that's why he needs somebody else who can see him from outside and see his potential and see where he is, that loop that he is just tracked in, and can give him hand and pull him out of that. And sometimes it really is a journey, as you told. It doesn't come like one day, but the person should be willing and open to receive the help and find that help in coaches or mentor, and just decide that he chooses the way how he wants to live. Thank you,
Exactly.
Dania. So
Thank you.
if there will be, yeah, so if there will be one thing that you would like to share or advise to people who listen to this conversation, what it would be?
Love yourself. You are worthy of a healthy, fulfilling life, and it is all possible.
Thank you, Dania, and you are a great example of that. You did what seemed impossible possible, and you look great, and now you are ready to shine and help other women to discover their potential, heal themselves, and thrive in life. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for this time and for this platform, Elena.